Today, we have with us J.P. Ferguson, Associate Professor in Organizational Behavior at McGill University in Montreal. J.P., thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure.
So, J.P., part of your work has actually looked at how the gender composition of the team of inventors is related to the nature of inventions that these teams do. What drove you to study this interaction between gender composition of the team of inventors and inventions, and what did you find?
So it's a great question. We think that one of the classic questions around innovation is how do biases or inequalities in the pool of inventors affect what gets invented? Yeah, I think this is commonly referred to as the lost Einstein problem. We always have this worry that because of social inequality, people who have really brilliant ideas don't have a chance to put them into practice. The challenge with that is always trying to say, well, what does it mean to talk about an invention as for a particular group? And so as a starting point, we thought it would be useful to specifically look at male and female inventors in the realm of biomedicine, where we could at least more realistically say that, for example, an invention that was designed to help with the treatment of something like endometriosis is clearly affecting women's health as opposed to men's health, and so on. Even that's quite hard, as it turns out, but the idea was then to say how much of the increase in innovation focusing on women's health, because let's be clear, there really has been an increase in the last 30 years, how much of that is because there's been a shift in priorities, even among male inventors, versus how much is because more women have been entering the field. And so the basic design of the study was to say, this is a spot where if we can identify effects of the group entering the field on inventions, it's probably going to be here. And so suddenly we found ourselves looking at how we could use a lot of the equipment that was developed to automatically encode research articles for doctors, where you can use things like the medical text indexer to say, this is clearly based and targeting women's health. Can we adapt that to also look at the patents that people are producing? Mm-hmm. And once you have that, you can start to say, well, what's the probability that an innovation is targeting women's health as a function, among other things, of who the people on the team are? And so there's a lot of other things in the paper, such as, are women the lead inventors on these teams? Is it an all-female team or mixed gender, and so on? The upshot of the paper is that there has been this increase in innovations targeting women's health, and you can explain about half of it, that increase, as the introduction of women into the field. So yes, men have shifted their research priorities some as well, but we simply would not see anything near the size of increase that we have unless women were also getting the chance to enter biomedicine and do research on biomedical innovations.
So what do you think are the main implications of your findings?
Well, there's obviously implications for women's health in the sense that we want to encourage this, and we want to make sure that where we can reduce those boundaries, we do. I think the larger question comes back to that idea that biases in the market of inventors lead to biases in inventions. And one of the things that often gets overlooked in innovation research is who is innovating. And if you're thinking about really broad societal problems, sometimes you want to make sure that the people who are most affected by those problems are people who have chances to solve them. So even things as simple as like waste disposal. Mm-hmm. Well, people who grow up around waste, people who are probably poor, who are less advantaged, and so on, this is a bigger looming problem in their lives than it might be for you and me, who we put our trash and the trash man takes it away and we don't think about it. And so the more opportunities we can give those groups to innovate, is likely we're going to see innovations that help solve these kinds of problems. And so I think one of the biggest implications is just we shouldn't be waiting on a group of lone geniuses, perhaps educated at the best schools, in the best firms, and so on. But broadening that opportunity for innovation is one of the big ways that we can solve a lot of our larger problems.
This is fascinating research, JP. Thank you very much for sharing it with us, for sure with super important societal implications.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Rocio, thank you so much for having me.